Aarohi was born into a conservative family in a small town. From the moment she was born, she felt like an outsider in her own home. Unlike her brothers, she was never celebrated, never encouraged. Instead, she often heard whispers about how her birth was a burden to the family. Her parents had always believed that a girl's place was in the home, and any ambition beyond marriage was unnecessary. While her brothers received the best education and support, Aarohi was expected to learn household chores. Despite the lack of encouragement, Aarohi had a fire within her. She loved to study, dreamt of a life beyond the narrow expectations set for her, and longed for the day when she could prove her worth. But whenever she spoke of her dreams, she was met with the same response: girls like you should know their place. At the age of 16, Aarohi discovered her passion for engineering. She was fascinated by how things worked, how machines could be built and improved. She would secretly read books, solve complex math problems, and dream of attending a prestigious university. One day, she gathered the courage to tell her father about her dream. His response was cold and final: engineering is not for girls. Stop dreaming and focus on learning to cook. Her heart sank, but she refused to give up. She begged her father to let her take the entrance exam for college. Frustrated by her persistence, he finally agreed, but with a condition: if you fail, you will marry the man of my choice. Aarohi studied harder than ever. She burned the midnight oil, using whatever limited resources she had. But on the day of the exam, something unexpected happened. Her father refused to give her the exam fee, claiming it was a waste of money. With no financial support, she watched her dreams slip away. Rejected by her own family, she felt like her world was crashing down. But deep down, she knew one thing: this was not the end. Determined to fight for her dreams, Aarohi took a bold step. She ran away from home. With nothing but a small bag and a heart full of courage, she boarded a train to the city. Life in the city was harsh. She had no money, no place to stay, and no one to turn to. She wandered the streets, looking for work, facing rejection at every doorstep. You are too young. You have no experience. We don't hire girls for such jobs. Each rejection hurt, but it also made her stronger. Finally, she found a job at a small mechanic's shop. It was a place where only men worked, but she convinced the owner to let her sweep the floors in exchange for learning. Every night, she stayed back, watching and learning about machines. She listened, observed, and practiced in secret. Though she was often mocked and underestimated, she never stopped believing in herself. She knew that one day, the same people who rejected her would respect her. After months of struggle, an opportunity knocked at her door. A national-level engineering competition was announced, one that offered a full scholarship to the winner. It was her one chance to prove herself. But there was a problem: she needed a team, and no one wanted to work with a poor, uneducated girl from the streets. Rejection didn't stop her. She spent days building her own prototype, a self-sustaining water filtration system designed to help villages with water scarcity. When the day of the competition arrived, she was the only solo participant in a sea of well-funded teams. She presented her idea with confidence, explaining how her invention could save lives. The judges were skeptical at first, but as she demonstrated her working model, the entire hall went silent. Her idea was revolutionary. When the results were announced, the impossible happened. Aarohi won. Tears filled her eyes as she received the scholarship. For the first time in her life, she felt seen, heard, and valued. With the scholarship, Aarohi enrolled in a prestigious university. But even there, she faced challenges. Some students mocked her background, professors doubted her abilities, and she often felt like an outsider, but she had learned the art of resilience. She studied harder than ever, asked questions, and never let criticism break her spirit. Over the years, she designed several innovative projects, one of which caught the attention of a leading tech company. She was offered an internship, and soon after, a full-time job. The girl who was once rejected by her own family was now working among the best minds in the world. Years later, Aarohi stood on a grand stage, receiving an international award for her groundbreaking innovations in engineering. The audience gave her a standing ovation. The same world that once rejected her now celebrated her. Reporters rushed to interview her. They asked, "What kept you going despite so much rejection?" She smiled and said, "Rejection is not the end. It's just a redirection to something greater. If the world rejects you, prove to them that you are worth noticing. Never let someone else's opinion define your worth." One evening, as she was giving a talk at a university, she noticed an elderly couple sitting in the audience. Her heart skipped a beat. It was her parents. After the speech, they approached her with tears in their eyes. Her father, once a man of strict rules, now looked at her with pride and regret. "I was wrong," he whispered. "You have made me the proudest father in the world." For the first time, Aarohi saw her father's eyes filled with respect, not for the daughter he once rejected, but for the woman she had become. Aarohi's journey is proof that rejection is never the end. It is just the beginning of your real story. If life pushes you down, rise stronger. If people reject you, believe in yourself even more. If doors close, create your own path. Because one day, the same world that rejected you will stand up and respect you. So never stop believing. Never stop fighting. Your time is coming. If you are facing rejection today, remember Aarohi's story. You are stronger than you think. The world may not see your worth yet, but one day, they will. And when that day comes, stand tall and show them what you're made of.